Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous fringe card, also called a tassel card. So hopefully you can see in the video that this is made up from different strips of coloured card which have been cut along the bottom, and then the card has kind of been twisted and bent into position to create this gorgeous fringe appearance. It's a really fun way of adding texture and depth to your card. And best of all, it's really easy to do, either with or without a Cricut machine. So if you don't have a Cricut machine, what you'll need to do is cut 4 strips of card or paper that go along the size of the card you want to make, and then just use a pair of scissors to cut little bits from the bottom of each one. So you'll want to cut about 3/4 of the way up each coloured bit of paper. If you do have a Cricut machine, I have done a design space project for you so you can get the files and cut it all directly on your Cricut machine, which makes it much easier to do. So I'm just going to jump over to Design Space and show you how to use that file, and then once everything's cut out, we'll come back and assemble our card. Follow the link in the description of this video to find where you can get the Design Space project to make this card. When you open it in Design Space, it will look like this. By default, it's set up to make a 5x7 inch card, so if you're happy with that, you can just click the Make It button, or if you want to change the size, then you can go into Customize and change it from there. I'm just going to show you all the different parts that will be cut out, so I'm going to click Make It and wait for that to load. It can take a little while because there's lots of cuts, so just bear with it. You've got a rectangle, which is the bit that will go at the very top of your card, and then 4 different pieces of the fringe. So if you're cutting this by hand rather than on the Cricut, this will give you an idea of what you need to do. You need to cut a rectangle that's the same width as your card, and then cut lines 3/4 of the way up all the way along. Obviously, if you do have a Cricut, it will do it all for you. So you've got 4 separate pieces to cut in 4 separate colours, and then the rectangle as well. So go ahead and cut out all of your pieces, and then we'll jump into making the card. Once you've cut out all the different pieces, they'll look like this. You'll probably find that you just need to go through the bottom of the fringe and just break it apart at the end where the horizontal and the vertical lines are meeting. So just go through each one, and you just need to basically move them away from one another just to break them apart. Once you've done that, then we need to fringe this up a bit. So we're going to just mess about with the bottom of the strips of paper so that when we stick it on our card, it's not going to be completely flat. It's going to have some dimension to it. I find that the easiest way to do that is to get a ruler and just place it on the edge of the card so it's going on the bit that isn't cut. And then if you've got a really thick ruler, you might want to just put it a little bit further that way. So I put that on there, and then I'm just going to lightly pick up a couple of bits of the card at a time and just kind of move it over the edge of the ruler. I'm not folding it, so I don't want to make a fold line. I'm just giving it some dimension by giving it a little bend rather than a fold. And by doing it just a couple of bits at a time, it means you'll get nice variation between the different strips on the card, so they're not all going to look the same. And again, that will just mean that it looks better when you've got it on your card. So once you've got them going up a little bit, then you can just use your fingers and just move the edges about to get a few little bends going on in there and create the fringe effect. Again, you're not trying to fold the card, we're just teasing all of these little tassel bits to give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, so when you're done, it'll look a bit like this, and you can see it's a bit more 3D than it was to start with, and that's going to look nicer on our card. So go ahead and do that for all 4 pieces of your tassel card, and then we will stick it together. So I've already got a 5x7" card, which is a pre-made card blank that I bought, but equally you could cut your own on your Cricut instead if you prefer. So how this usually works is you go either from light to dark or dark to light, depending on how you prefer it. So I'm going to just layer these up to get an idea of the positioning, with my lightest one at the top and the darkest at the bottom. You'll also have cut a plain rectangle as well, and that one's going to go at the top to line up with the card blank, so that'll go there. So you can see now the effect that you've got from messing up all of those edges against the ruler. It gives a really nice effect to the fringe card. So we need to stick it together. It's easiest to start at the bottom. Now you've got a rough idea of where you want everything to go. So I'm just going to move these top layers along, trying to keep them roughly in position. And then with my bottom layer, I'm going to stick this on so that the bottom of the fringe bits at the bottom of this colour are perfectly aligned with the bottom of the card. Now I don't want to put my adhesive on the roughly bits themselves, because otherwise they won't move about. So I only want to put it on the top of this bit of card. So I'm going to turn it over. I've got some double-sided tape. I'm just going to go down all of that with one bit of tape and just stick it to my card. So I line up along the bottom. And just stick it down. And then all we need to do is the same thing for the other colours. So I'm going to bring the next one in, which is going to go about here. Now if you want to get all of your different bits perfectly lined up with each other, then you could measure it with a ruler and a pencil to make sure they're all going to show the same amount of the fringe on each colour. But I'm just eyeballing it a little bit. I got two more. Oh, I think my tape's just run out. That's convenient, isn't it? I'm going to put that one on there. And then the lightest one, let's see. Oh, very nearly run out. I think I've got the last little bit. I'm going to put that one on near the top. And then finally this bit, which is going to line up with the top of the card. So you can see I have done it a little bit wonky here. There's more of the darker colour showing than any of the other colours. But I kind of quite like how that looks. I can't stop touching it. So I'm just going to stick this last bit on. I'm going to put two bits of tape on this one and a bit down the sides and the middle. And just attach that to the top of the card. And there we go, the fringe card is done. So you can see if I tilt it, you've got this lovely effect from all the different cut out bits of card. And if you think it's maybe looking a bit flat, then you can just go in and ruffle it up a bit more until you're happy with how it's looking. But it looks really cool. It's got this nice 3D effect to it, which you can see. And it's fun to play with. So you could leave it like this, or maybe put a sentiment at the top, but I'm going to add a little bit of extra decoration. So I've got some ribbon here, some little lace ribbon. I'm going to put this along the top where my card reaches the first colour of the fringe. So because I've got yellows, I think I'm going to use the kind of antique coloured ribbon. So I'm just going to measure how much I need, and then, drop in my glue, cut that there. Now I'm going to use glue for this rather than tape, because I think the tape would show through all the little holes and it would stay sticky. So I've got some tacky glue, because it dries clear and it dries nice and quickly. I'm just going to put a little bit along that piece of card, get my ribbon and just stick it down. So I did cut a little bit too much, but I can trim that once I've stuck it on. So I'm just going to trim off the edge. There we go. Okay, so that's looking quite nice to sort of finish it off a bit, and then I'm just going to add a couple of embellishments. So I've got these cute little cat toppers, which I bought from Hobbycraft, which is a craft store in the UK, and they come with little stickies on the back, which makes it really easy to apply. So I'm just going to put that in one corner. There we go. And then, because I'm not sure yet what occasion this card will be used for, it could be a birthday card or maybe a get well soon card, or even just a I'm thinking of you card. I'm not going to put a sentiment on it. Instead, I'm just going to take some little bows. So I've got some yellowy ones in here which will look nice. And again, I think these ones were from Hobbycraft, but you can get them on Amazon or loads of different places online. So just find the back side of that one, and I'm going to put it up in the top corner. So just a little bit of glue. There we go. And put my bow on there. There's just a little bit of loose ribbon I'm going to trim first. Put that there. I'm going to wait for that to dry so it doesn't fall off. But there we have my finished fringe card already. So as you can see, it was really easy to make. It does take a bit of time for all of these things to cut out on your Cricut machine, or you can do it by hand, and it might even be quicker to do it by hand, but I do really like the uniform look that cutting it on the Cricut machine gives you, because all your little lines are the same size. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you have, please give it a thumbs up using the button below the video. And I do new card making and Cricut tutorials every week, so check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel to make sure you don't miss out. Thank you for watching.